Hi guys, Ashley here, also an AJ fan, and I'm back today with another What You Do topic video. And today I thought this was a little bit different. I was on TikTok and I saw a What You Heal Unpopular Opinions that no one asked for, and I thought I would read what this person wrote, his opinions, because me being the What You Heal fan I am, I understand if you were a person who watched it when it was airing on TV, you probably have a different perspective than me, because I got into the show when I was 13, and I've been watching this show ever since. I've been obsessed with it ever since, all the way from my teenage years to, let's just say I kind of been obsessed with this show since early middle school, like towards the end of middle school to like high school years to adult years. I still watch What You Do to this day. I love teen drama shows. If it's not obvious, a lot of my content on my channel is teen drama. I love teen drama. Teen drama shows are dead, but I absolutely love What You Do and I love teen dramas. So I just feel like I have to look at unpopular opinions and see what people say. And that's just getting into them. Some of these I don't agree with, and some of them I do agree with. I will let you know which ones I agree with, and let's get into it. The first unpopular opinion, this one I've made a video about before in the past. I can make another one about it, but here it is. The first unpopular opinion is that Peyton and Jake should have been engaged. That's really why. They were much more fun, cute to watch. Their chemistry felt more real, natural, and not so heavy trauma filled. Lucas should have ended up with Lindsay. Me personally, I feel like when it comes to Jake and Peyton, I really feel like people have on rose-tinted glasses when it comes to them. I really feel like a lot of people think that I do think the chemistry was cute. I do think her and Jake were cute. I did like the slow burn in season 2 with them. They didn't get together until episode 14. Like they didn't get together until episode 14. But I enjoyed the slow burn. It sucked when he had to leave. But me personally, I was just always a Lathan shipper. I've always felt like her and Jake that was just something they needed to give to Peyton. Because I feel like a lot of fans who watched season 1 when her and Jake got close, I feel like some people wanted to see where that was going to go, so they decided to keep that going in season 2, which I wasn't mad at, because they chose to not give us any Lathan scenes in season 2 and go with Lucas instead. So it was like, okay, well, let's give us someone who can have a dynamic with Peyton, so they bring Jake back in. Me personally, and I'm going to just say this, and I said this before, I just feel like Jake had way too much going on, in my opinion, to have a real committed relationship with anyone. He was a high school dropout. He went to jail because Nikki sued him for custody, and since he wouldn't agree to custody, they put him in prison until he had to agree to it. And Lucas and Peyton had to put him in a hideout. He had to go hiding. Jenny was moving around constantly. That is not good for any child. That is emotionally instability. Jake is moving away from his parents, back to Tree Hill, back to his parents, to the fact that Whitey had to take her out of town. Like, y'all don't understand. I feel like Jake had way too much going on for him and Peyton to be in a committed, in a consistent relationship. If you think this should be engaged, that's your prerogative. I can't change that for you. There are a lot of people who don't think that. There are a lot of What You Do fans, maybe like Lathan fans, who, me personally, I'm team Lathan all day. I love Lathan. That was the first love story that I saw on TV, and I absolutely loved it. Even to this day, I still love it. Not saying that the things that they did were cool and right. No, but me personally, love is love. Not saying you should ever hurt anyone or anything of the sort, but I feel like it was just always there between her and Lucas. So I just feel like that was the love story. I just feel like Jake had too much going on. And so we're going to pretend that Lucas and Peyton did have chemistry. if you really sit here and say they didn't have no chemistry, you really suck a dick. Like, you're really taking drugs. I don't know what drugs you're on, but you're on some heavy shit. To sit here and say the chemistry between them didn't feel natural, you're out of your damn mind. Lucas and Peyton have one of the slowest burning builds that I have ever seen. It took them so long to get together, but the build made it worth it. Everything was worth it to me, in my opinion. It was so worth it because it was very consistent throughout the show. The chemistry, the moments, the friendship, the dynamics. It was always friendship first when it came to her and Lucas. It was always friendship first. And I think her and Lucas have a more deeper connection than her and Jake. I don't think her and Jake was surface level, but it wasn't that big either. Like, I feel like I needed to see more. And when they tried to tease them again in season 3, that to me felt forced. It's like this entire season, Peyton hasn't really talked about him much, and now all of a sudden you want to throw Jake in there as an option. It's like that to me just felt really forced, in my opinion. It is so very forced. And when people try to say Jake was a better guy than Lucas, it's like, well, it's easy to say that when it's like this guy has never made him. He's not. He was more of a plot device, in my opinion. Jake didn't really like a real character. He didn't really make any real mistakes or anything like that. I feel like a character isn't a character if they don't make at least some mistakes. No, you're not gonna get it right all the time as a person or a character. But I do think eventually you need to get it together, and I feel like as long as you take accountability for the mistakes that you make, I feel like that's the best thing you can do. If someone just can't forgive you, don't stop trying, in my opinion. Just stop trying. At the end of the day, they have to forgive themselves. It's up to them whether or not, it's up to that person whether they want to live with that betrayal and the backstabbing. That's up to them. If they don't want to change that, not saying they have to forgive you, but they have to realize that they can't hang on to that pain, in my opinion. I feel like didn't mean to get preachy, but I just feel like it's just a double standard when it comes to Lucas and Peyton, in my opinion. I just think it's just a completely double standard. I don't mean to be on this opinion for so long, but I think I've got so much more to say, which is why I can make another video you guys want me to. I do plan on making a whole video about the whole episode about Lucas and Peyton going on stage and doing the Nathan and Haley I love you scene, and I plan on breaking that whole episode down, and even the Jake flashbacks, I plan on breaking that down too. So I can talk about it. I just feel like to sit here and say that Lucas and Peyton have no chemistry, that Chad and Hillary had no chemistry. I really feel like you're on drugs. I feel like you're on cocaine. Whatever the fuck you're on it. And you're on heroin. I don't know what the fuck of line, coke or heroin you're injecting in your veins. But to me, I just feel like you sound ridiculous. People only hate Lathan because people love Brooke. Let's be real. Y'all love Brooke so much that y'all hate Lathan a little too much to the point where it's a little obsessive and it's a little overhated sometimes. It's popular to hate them. To the fact that Miss Mojo put them on toxic couples list, Lucas and Peyton are the least toxic couple on television. Everything between them was good from the end of the day. Everything between them was connection, friendship, and a genuine connection. Brooke is the one who got in between them, and that's the last time I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck who gets mad at me. Y'all don't want to kind of accept that. So in my opinion, I feel like Peyton was happy when she was with Lucas too. She was happy with him. She was happy. I feel like Peyton was happy when she was with Lucas and when she was around people that she had her deepest connections with. The reason why Peyton was so sad, and it's an opinion, another thing on here which I'm going to get into. I'm going to for that. I feel like Peyton was really happy when she had people around her who didn't make her feel so alone. And I feel like Jake was that person in season 2 because she was very sad. Like, my girl Peyton was going through it in season 2. And because they abandoned her and Lucas' friendship, they really made, like, Lucas not be there for her when it's like, if we're going to be honest, Lucas would have been there if the writers didn't fit the dynamic. So that's that. And Lindsay and Lucas, they have no business being in game. I don't like Lindsay. They have no chemistry, and I don't like that. And as for the whole Lucas and Peyton trauma bond thing, I love hearing that. That to me it makes me laugh. It grinds my gears because for people to mistake an emotional bond to trauma bonding is just so crazy. Just because someone understands your pain and they hear your pain out, and they try to understand why you're so cold, why you're so dark, why you're not so trusting. Just because I'm telling you I've been through some shit too, does not mean that's the only thing we have in common. And I had an example of trauma bond number 4. I'm trying to remember who did I say last time I mentioned that video, but I can't remember. But no, a trauma bond for me that I feel like y'all chose to romanticize is Tate and Violet. The only thing Tate and Violet had in common in American Horror Story was just the darkness. That's it. At least Lucas and Peyton try to push each other to not be so closed off. Because Lucas can be closed off as long as he is loving because of the stuff with Dan. But Peyton is very closed off because she's lost everything in her life. She's been through a lot of shit. And not many people really care, not a lot of people care about your pain. Lucas is the only person who ever sat down with her and tried to understand her pain and understand where the fuck she was coming from. That to me is not a trauma bond. That's trying to understand who the person is, in my opinion. And I really think the only reason people ran with this was because Hillary kept saying it in the podcast. Like, whenever it was a genuine cute moment between Lucas and Peyton, she kept saying, that's a trauma bond, which I just don't agree with. I think I find it very adorable and cute that whenever Peyton is going through a moment that's very stressful, that Lucas is the first person that she runs to. I think that's cute to me. He's the only person who genuinely understands her and who is genuinely going to help her out. So I think for him to mistake an emotional, a deep emotional connection to trauma bond just shows you probably never had a deep emotional connection with anyone before. I'm not talking about with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean with friends, with family, or anything. If you never had a deep emotional connection with anyone, then I think that's how you mistake it for trauma bonding. Let's move on, because we've been in this for 12 minutes. I just had a lot to go off my chest, so let's move on to the other one. The next unpopular opinion is that skills deserve better. I always feel like Moth should have been skills and skills should have been Moth. I definitely feel like skills should have been Moth's character. Moth got way more screen time, and Moth was just very bland as a character to me. I definitely would have loved to see skills a lot more. I definitely agree with that. But this other thing that she said, I don't agree with. He was completely underused, in my opinion. He deserved a better storyline. Being with this, he should have also been Jamie's godfather, not Lucas. I don't agree with her saying that he should have been Jamie's godfather. That to me would have not made any sense, considering that the entire show, Skills did not have a dynamic with anybody really in the main 5 except for Lucas. Lucas is the only person he had a real dynamic with in the main 5, in the core 5. And then him and Haley had one episode together. After that, they did not hang out again. He stood up for Haley when Rachel was going to say, bitch, you're looking at you're pregnant. When her and Rachel got into it, he stood up for Haley. And then him and Nathan had one episode together when they were trying to raise money. That's it. I mean, yes, those dynamics were cute because those actors have great chemistry. But to me, it makes no sense that Nathan and Haley would make a random person, I don't want to call him a random person, but a person that they barely talk to for real, into Jamie's godfather. I did like him and Jamie's dynamic in season 5. I thought they were really cute. Their moments were really cute. I loved their moments together. He was there for Jamie. Everyone kind of had to pick up the slack for Nathan because Nathan chose to emotionally abandon his family. So everyone had to step it up. Pretty much people had to be surrogate fathers to Jamie because Nathan was not there for his son. But Lucas was a great godfather. He was there for Jamie. He bought Jamie little letters and he gave him the little map of where Lily and Karen was. He was there for Haley and Jamie, picking up the slack for them when Nathan abandoned them. Was over Jamie. Like, I thought him and Jamie had a lot of cute chemistry. And I feel like to just say to say that Skills should have been his godfather over Lucas, I don't ride with. I don't agree with. To me, I think that's totally ridiculous in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Take it how you want to take it. I think to me that is ridiculous. But I definitely think Skills deserve more. He was a character who I feel like I would have loved to see more of him and Bevan. I was really heartbroken that they didn't make it into the 5 years jump because they fit each other so perfectly. It's just like what could have possibly went wrong for them not to end up together? Him and Devin were really cute. That dynamic was really cute. They always had really funny moments. I did not like his storyline with Dev. Me personally, I thought it was weird. I thought it was stupid. I feel like the whole storyline was supposed to be like comedic relief, and I just didn't get it. And then after that, I don't think Skills was in season 7, but he was in season 8, and after that, the actor he left. In season 8, him and Moss had a storyline about them seeing the same person. Pretty much they were in a love triangle. I definitely think Skills deserved better. I feel like they kept him there, and I hate to say it, I feel like they wrote Skills in there to be a token character. Like, he had his own personality, but he really didn't have his own storyline or no real character depth, or we don't know nothing really about his background. There really isn't enough substance on how him and Lucas are friends. Like, I'm going to just assume they were friends since childhood. I'm going to just assume it's there. Because I feel like, if you ask me who I think is outside of Haley and Peyton, who I think is Lucas' like third closest friend, Skills. I feel like him and Skills talk all the time. Him and Skills have a great dynamic. And I love the fact that Skills is the person who talks insistent to him when he tried to say that Peyton is just confused. No. Stop it. So yes, I definitely think Skills deserves a lot more, but him being Jamie's godfather, that's a ridiculous opinion, and if you agree with that, you smoking crack. On to the next one. Karen to be a bad mother to Lucas. I agree. I feel like watching the show back, I definitely feel like Karen can get on my nerves sometimes, but that's really what she's saying. She slapped Lucas at least twice in the show, left him go to Italy for 6 weeks, raped him for Keith's death, didn't believe him about Dan, also hated how she treated Keith, Whitey, she slapped him too, dead at times in the show. She had a superiority complex. Superiority, I cannot say it right. Why can't I say this word right? I cannot say it right. I cannot say it right. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. I cannot pronounce the word right. I sound ridiculous. Is there ever just like a word that you can't pronounce and it's just like so annoying? I feel like this word has just been like so hard to say. That's to say she has like better than everyone type of complex. I think that's what this word stands for. So yes. And let me look it up just to make sure I'm right. Superiority, okay. Superiority, okay. Superiority, okay. Basically, she's saying that Karen has a superiority complex. That pretty much she thinks that she's better than people sometimes. Sorry, she's playing heartbeat. Let's react to some of this. She slapped Lucas twice in the show. She's referring to the slap that she gave Lucas in season 1, episode 19. I absolutely love that episode. That's one of my favorite One Tree Hill episodes. She slapped him when he said he thought he got Brooke pregnant. And I feel like I could understand why she slapped him, because again, she told him to never ever, if you're gonna lay up with someone, always wear a motherfucking raincoat. If you don't want a baby, be protected. And I feel like I can understand where she's coming from. When she's talking to herself all these years, you like, to be a teenager and raise a kid, you just have so much of your life. I'm not saying you're making a mistake by keeping your child, but just know that when you keep your child, that you are making a sacrifice. And I think that's what she's trying to tell Lucas, that it's so much more he has to life, and it's just such a big thing. So that I can understand why she slapped him. It wasn't because she was angry, it was more because have you not been listening to what I've been saying all these years about having unprotected sex? The second slap, she slapped him again trying to believe. When did she tap him again? I think she tapped him in season 4. I can't remember. I think she did tap him in season 4 because she did tap him in season 4 when he was telling her about the key stuff, and she was telling him to stop it and everything like that and everything. I didn't fuck with that. Karen in season 4, she got on my nerves. I couldn't stand Karen in season 2 or 4. Her character was just so aggravating, especially season 2. She got on my nerves in season 2. But in season 4, I think what irritated me the most about her in season 4 is that she was falling underneath the dance spell, and it made her instantly fall for his manipulation, and that irritated me so bad. That's why she wrote. She blamed Lucas for Keith's death, which I did not fuck with. She wasn't shit for blaming him for Keith's death. That shit pissed me off to no end. When she talked about that I raised a stupid kid, running into burning buildings, running into school with guns, that I raised a stupid kid. He talked about, I know it's my fault that Keith's dead. He said he wished he could change it. She said, well, she's a change it and gonna bring him back, is it? I couldn't believe she tried to blame him for that. I couldn't believe she tried to blame him for why Keith died because he ran into a building. Are you serious? Are you serious? The only reason why he ran into the school was because Nathan ran in there. So why ain't everybody coming down on Nathan for running into the school? He ran there to get his wife. I don't blame Nathan for running back in there. Lucas ran in there because Brooks told him that Peyton was in there, and as soon as she heard the bullets go off, she ran out. Peyton ran the other way, and she ended up getting shot, and she ended up going to the library. Lucas went back in there to get Peyton. He's a bad guy for saving his friend? I couldn't believe she tried to blame for that. That shit, I don't think I could ever get over that. They said the way she treated Keith. I definitely didn't like the way she treated Keith in season 1. Treating him like he was just the most horrible person in the world because of the car accident. I just didn't fuck with it. Yes, he was drinking, but he wasn't drunk. And I still feel like at the end of the day, he should have not he should have not gotten a beer or anything according to alcohol getting behind the wheel. That was not okay. And everything like that, I don't think that was okay. I could understand where Karen is coming from because it's her only child. She don't want to lose her kid. I definitely understand where she's coming from. I just feel like she was angry for way too long. Even though Keith, she knew how sorry Keith was, and I feel like she was angry for way too long in my opinion. And I didn't fuck with it. I really didn't fuck with it. The way she treated Keith. And then her line of saying that she never let her heart go there with him. Again, why are you lying? Girl, you loved him, and you know it. Before you left, you kissed him and told him that you're going after what you want. So, now all of a sudden you don't want him no more? It just didn't make any sense. It was definitely because of the car accident, which I definitely understand. It was her kid that was in the car accident. I get it. But I feel like Keith just didn't deserve that, in my opinion. He just didn't deserve that. I feel like he sacrificed so much for Karen. I feel like she could be mad. Of course, that was her kid. And tells him that he can never do anything like that ever again. But I just feel like she was mad really for way too long. Especially when Keith was really good to her. He just didn't deserve that, in my opinion. Not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. Especially when Dan's someone who was horrible to you and your son. You let him off the hook because he wants to be there for you and your unborn child. Karen, get the fuck out of my face. Like, you want to forgive one character but not the other. Like, girl, bye. So yes, I do think Karen could be like a questionable mother at times, but I do think at the same time, I do think she was a great mom. I feel like she put Lucas first a lot. She was always there for him whenever he had anything on his mind, and she always gave him words of encouragement. But I just feel like sometimes she was out of pocket, and for her to say and the girl saying that she got a security complex, I disagree with that. I do feel like sometimes she do think she's better than everybody because she trying to think. I do think Karen is a good person, but I do feel like she can look down on other people and not give them a chance just because they might make one bad mistake. And I don't think you should do that with people. I do think if someone betrays you to the extent that you feel like you could just never forgive them, that's your prerogative. But me personally, I feel like if someone is really showing you that they want a second chance and they do whatever they can to get that second chance, I feel like you should give it to them. Not you should, but maybe you should consider it. So in that instance, yes. And what I think what she means mostly by that is that she was ready to cut ties with Andy after she thought that he was seeing her and seeing another woman at the same time. Not even trying to hear what he had to say or why he was taking care of this other woman. She didn't want to hear it until he told her that he's taking care of a woman that got hit in a car accident. He's been taking care of her ever since. She didn't want to hear it. And this is like a fucking dummy when he told her the truth. How about the fact that she judged Jules without even getting to know her or the situation? She didn't care about Keith's happiness. It was never about that. She was mad that Keith was getting married and that she didn't want him to be married to her. That's what it really was about. It was not about protecting his happiness. Lucas was protecting his happiness. But they still wrong. Lucas and Karen are still wrong because they knew that Jules was working for Dan and they should have said something. But I think the moment that Lucas saw when he came back and Keith told him that he asked Jules to marry him and she said yes, I think at that moment he did not know what to say. And I understand why. Keith is looking for the next chapter in his life. He wants to be married. He wants to have kids. He ain't got time to sit around and wait for that. And if he thinks that Jules is the person for him, I'm not going to stand in the way of his happiness. So I feel like they were wrong, but at the end of the day, it was still hard to, how do you address that when he's just so happy? Why would you want to essentially ruin someone's happiness? So I think in that moment, they were just stuck on what to do. Let's move on. I like Karen, but I do feel like she had her moments where it was just like, girl, I really just can't stand you right now. Mouth. I don't like Mouth either. I think Mouth was a very bland character. I think he was desperate. I think he went for the wrong girls. And I don't really got much to say about him. I'm not about to read this Unpopular opinion because, again, I just don't care. Let's talk about this one. This one that she wrote, I have been saying this since I've been rewatching One Tree Hill, and I feel like no one, whenever I mention it in a TikTok comment, no one ever hears me. But I'm really happy that someone has decided to put this in their Unpopular opinion. Nathan emotionally cheated on Haley more than once. Yes, the fuck he did. Let me turn my fan off this so y'all can hear me. Nathan would essentially and emotionally do things for other girls just to have attention. He did not care about the attention that other girls gave him, and he went along with it. Everybody loves Nathan. Team Nathan, right? Even though I'm more of a Lucas girl. I'm more Team Lucas, in my opinion. I think towards the end of the show, Nathan was a very boring character, in my opinion. I feel like the writers ran out of ideas what to do with him, and his storylines just got increasingly boring. He did emotionally cheat on Haley, and would allow women to inappropriately towards him. Would allow women to be inappropriate towards him. Sorry, I read that wrong. Sometimes Haley's sister, yes. In season 2, he would watch her get undressed. He would watch her put her oil on her legs, like just being very inappropriate. I didn't fucks with that. And how I forget about the fact that he almost tried to hook up with her sister. I think people forget that in season 2, episode 18, they almost hooked up, and he said that he just couldn't do it to Haley, and she said she can't do that either. Y'all tend to overlook that. Nathan's going to cheat on his wife. Yes, even though they are separated, they are still legally married. And he's going to cheat on her, and yet no one talks about it. But y'all already talked about Lucas, though. Rachel was being very inappropriate, giving him pictures, trying to get him all alone, and no one bats an eye. Everybody's ready to check Rachel, but no one checks Nathan for what he was doing. That shit ain't right to me. Even though I do think Rachel was very desperate and very stupid for thinking that Nathan would risk it all for her, I do think she was stupid. But at the end of the day, no one wants to talk about how Nathan was giving her mixed signals. Like the fact that he didn't tell Haley about the inappropriate pictures or nothing, or still meeting her alone. No one talks about that. Everybody just thinks that Rachel was just a big, huge slut for going after a married guy, even though Nathan was giving her mixed signals. Yes, I do think Rachel was a very male-centered character, and I do think her way of getting with guys was being sexually forward because she had very low self-esteem. And she was very delusional for thinking that Nathan would sleep with her because she was interested. But again, we're gonna sit here and act like Nathan didn't give her mixed signals. He was they would be in places all alone, and he would act weird about Haley asking him what was he doing with her, why was he talking to her. He would just like talk about, oh, it was nothing. Oh, he would emotionally confide in Rachel over Haley. The same thing y'all getting mad about Lucas, right? But y'all not getting mad about that about Nathan. I just don't get it. Even though with Lucas and Brooke, they tried to be emotionally confiding in each other, it just seemed like whenever they tried to, it just seemed to always be like a push and pull thing with them. But yeah, y'all get mad about the shit about Lucas, but when it comes to Nathan, it's not the same thing. It's not held accountable. It's a double standard. Nanny Carey. Do I even talk about the Nanny Carey storyline? I mentioned this so many times about how Nathan was wrong. Nathan let this woman swim naked in front of him, pull up his pants inappropriately, kiss him, get into his shower. Even though the kissing, even though getting into his shower was definitely sexual harassment, that is definitely an unwanted advance, definitely sexual harassment. Everything else though, Nathan, he was getting jealous at her getting with other guys, dancing up with other guys. He was definitely jealous in that episode in season 5. He was hella jealous. And then he lied to Haley about it when he told her that it was just a kiss, it was nothing more. And then when she confronted him about it, he talking about, I believe in season 5, he said that you take me for granted, you don't ever thank me for anything, all you do is complain. So it's Haley's fault that you go watch you watch the nanny swim naked? Really, Nathan? And then in therapy, he tells Haley that she don't look at him like that. He likes the attention that she was giving him because as a man, being wanted and being desired is important to him. I get that in a marriage. I definitely do. Not seeing a partner sexually in a marriage or feeling like y'all sex life has gone dry and has gone stale, I feel like that is a big problem. I can understand where Nathan is coming from, but there's so many things that's more important than our sex life, Nathan. And like Haley said, I'm more worried that you don't see me like I'm sexy enough, like you don't think I'm sexy enough. I would have had loved to see a Nathan and Haley. I would have had loved to see more steamy, and I think someone mentioned this on a YouTube channel I was watching. I would have had loved to see more steamy Nathan and Haley sex scenes. But I get it, One Tree Hill was not about sex, it was more about the character dynamics and storylines and character growth and everything like that. I just still feel like I would have loved to see more Nathan and Haley steamy sex scenes. Like, how come Haley couldn't wear lingerie? I understand they had a problem with the writer because they thought he was, he was a creepo. He had, they found him for sexual harassment. He just didn't know how to not be so touchy. But I still feel like in the show, Brooke got to wear her sexy lingerie. How come Haley couldn't do that with Nathan? Like, I would have had loved to see more steamy sex scenes with them. They were together for way too long to not have more steamy sex scenes, in my opinion. And I feel like whenever they did, it just felt like it was too late. Like, the sex scene in season 6 was hot. I would have loved to see more scenes like that. And it was just like, they just never did nothing like it. But the Nanny Carey storyline, Nathan was wrong. It took me a long time to realize how wrong he was and how much he kept it going by not nipping it in the bud. And every time she kept telling him that it won't happen again, he kept saying he won't say nothing to Haley. No, you should have said something to her when the moment he should have said something was the moment that she swam naked in the pool, in my opinion. He should have told Haley that when he was closing the door, he saw her swimming naked. Like, what's that about? That's hella inappropriate. They have a child. What if Jamie would have been in the kitchen sneaking something and saw her outside naked? Like, come on now, Nate. Just because you're feeling a little bit aroused and you're feeling a little bit of lust, that keeps you from telling your wife the truth? I don't respect that. So, yeah, y'all don't hold Nathan accountable for the shit that he do either. And I agree with her. I feel like it's not held accountable enough when it comes to his character. I feel like there's other stuff too Nathan do. Like I feel like he's very self-centered sometimes. I feel like he could be very ruthless with his words, and he could be very arrogant and make everything all about him. Like I still feel like that was an ongoing thing about him. Like he just always made everything about him sometimes, and it got like it just it was really annoying. On to the next one. Quentin's death will always be the saddest death in One Tree Hill. In One Tree Hill, yes, even more sad than Keith. Let me read what she said first before I get into everything about her saying that it's more sad than Keith. Yes, Keith's death is sad and makes me bawl every time I rewatch the show. But it's so tragic that Quentin was young and just starting his life together when they cut him off short by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The show could have been so much better if they would have kept Quentin and utilized the characters more. I can't really see what she said here because she got a lot of the stuff blocking. But I do think Quentin's death was sad. When I was younger, I just didn't care for his character. But when I watch it now, I really liked his dynamic with Nathan, Haley, and Jamie. And when he died, it was really sad because I really liked his character because he was so young. And he was a teenager. He was just trying to get his life together. He was not a rebel. He was helping Nathan get his life back together. He was a good student to Haley. He had a great dynamic with Jamie. He gave him the red cape. And his funeral episode is one of the saddest episodes in the show. I will give her that. I bought every single time I watched the episode. Like I said before when I made my ranking, the moment where Jamie lays the cape out on the casket and Brooke takes his hand and Brooke starts crying, that scene gets me every time. Like right now, I'm getting choked up. Like that scene gets me every time. Like his episode was very sad. It was great. Like the acting was great. The whole setup, like it was great. One Tree Hill was really good at making you feel the deaths. Like it was great. I definitely would have loved to see Quentin more. In my opinion, I would have loved that they kept him. I think they did that to help Nathan out with his basketball storyline in season 6. I definitely think that's why they did that. I think it was to help Nathan, and I think it was to give Jamie something as a kid, even though I don't think Jamie needed storylines, but I think in season 6, Jamie got a lot of storylines in season 6, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous. But I think that's what it mostly was for. And I think it helped Haley have more dynamics with the children in her classroom. I think that's how we got the whole Sam storyline, which I'm not really a big fan of. I got a video about that too, about why I really don't like the Sam and Brooke dynamic that much. But and I love the scene too. And I think it's season 6, episode 9 or 10, when Nathan was at home watching basketball and Quentin was in his subconscious and he kept telling him that you got a second chance. I don't. And like that scene really made me cry because like it was such a great acting scene because he's right. What you gonna do? Sit here and not fight for your dream? You gonna sit here and not fight for your dream, Nate? Everything you wanted, you gonna sit here and not fight for it? Like you worked your ass off to get into the NBA and you're not even gonna fight for it? No, you shouldn't be sitting here not fighting for your dream. You worked your ass off to get there. Fight for your dream, man, because I don't have a second chance. You do. Take it and run with it. Like, that scene was phenomenal, in my opinion. I think it was phenomenal. I think it chokes me up every time. Like, even, like, repeating what he said, like, it's, like, so crazy that was in Nathan's subconscious. Like, it was... And for that to happen, like, really towards the end of season 5, it's crazy how much his death affects people like me, the audience, and everyone around. Like, it happened, like, that everything with Haley, even though it happened from the very beginning, but I feel like it really blossomed towards the end of season 5. I feel like it sucks that he had to die in season 6 because of being at the wrong place at the wrong time and everything like that. It really sucked, but his funeral really broke my heart, and the episode with him and Nathan when he was in his subconscious really broke my heart too. and I thought the actor was really good with what he had in season 5 and 6, in my opinion. I definitely would have loved. I definitely would have loved if they would have kept Quentin around. I definitely agree with that. But his death being more sad than Keith, that I just don't agree with. Keith's death changed everything in One Tree Hill. Everything. Keith's death happened in one of the most shocking episodes of One Tree Hill. I did not expect that to happen towards the end of the episode. I really didn't. In the end of that episode, I did not expect Keith to die. They had a brief episode that was sad. Like, season 3 was really sad. Like, that Keith's death really changed the whole trajectory of Lucas, Karen. It gave them more depth. Dan, it gave Dan more layers as a villain. Like, and they kept that storyline going in the other seasons. Season 4, like, they kept that going on who murdered Keith. I kind of feel like after season 6, and after Nathan Haley went through the grief and all of that stuff, and after all of it, in season 7, it was just kind of like the end of it, in my opinion. Like I said, they don't mention him again or anything like that. Unlike with Keith's death, after Keith died, Lucas constantly mentions him. There's constantly a lot of references to how good of an uncle he was, everything, and how he was so much more than an uncle. He was a dad to him. I just feel like with Quentin's death, I'm not saying they did it for shock value. I just felt like after it happened and after it changed Nathan, Haley, and Jamie as characters, it's like they kind of they forgot about him in the other seasons. But his death is definitely not more sad than Keith's. Keith's death changed everything. It was the most shocking moment to me in the entire show. It was so shocking. We have We have 3 more opinions left, and this one is about Brooke. Brooke was obviously attacked. Okay, after Brooke is attacked, she tells everyone except Deb that she fell down the stairs. Actually, hold on. Brooke did not tell anyone she was attacked. Brooke did not tell Haley. She didn't tell Nathan. She didn't tell Lucas. She didn't tell Peyton. The only person she told was Deb in the very beginning. I don't think she didn't tell Peyton until episode 5 that she was attacked. And this is why I'm about to read what she said, because I'm so tired of people mentioning this when it comes to Peyton. I really am. Because, let me just read it. Knew something was more going on her trying to be supportive for her when she tells Peyton she fell down the stairs. Peyton just laughs and acts like it's funny. What the fuck is she talking about? Laugh like it's funny. When Peyton came to the door, she said what happened. Brooke told her that she got into a fight with Lindsay. But she said that's not what happened. She said she fell down the stairs. And Brooke told her that she wished she would have said something. She said she would have came back sooner from her trip. That's what she said. Brooke and Peyton said no. Brooke said no, don't do that. She said it was fine anyway. She said it was just a little trip down the stairs. And after that, she looked away into the camera. That's what happened. What the hell is she talking about? And then after those episodes, Peyton constantly asked her what was going on, because Brooke was giving away her clothes, not seeing anyone. She's emotionally distant. Peyton was asking her what is going on, and she's not saying anything. Outside of, when Peyton did ask her, she kicked Peyton out of her house, told Peyton to give back her key, and when Peyton got her clothes back, she was still emotionally distant. She was shutting Peyton out. Like, she was shutting Peyton out. She didn't even let Peyton know. She didn't even tell Nathan or Haley. They didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Haley gave her the therapist because Brooke said she's been really sad since Angie left. And she was telling everyone that she tripped down the stairs. That's the only reason why Haley gave her the therapist. It wasn't because she told Haley that she got attacked. That's not what happened. No. So don't even try to sit here and tell me that's what it was, because no the fuck it wasn't. No. Don't ever try to sit here and tell me. Peyton is not a bad, I keep saying Brooke. Peyton is not a bad friend. Was she a bad friend when she was asking? Was she a bad friend when she was trying to figure out what the hell was going on? No. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not saying that she's a bad friend for not figuring out. Even though if you fall down the stairs, I'm pretty sure you can get a bruise like that. You can break something if you fall down the stairs, in my opinion. So for Brooke to say that she fell down the stairs, and for Peyton to say Jesus, for her to think that the bruises came from there, it's not way off from thinking that. I'm pretty sure if you fall down the stairs, you will have a big bruise. And first of all, it should not be Peyton's fault that Brooke is the one who didn't say anything, in my opinion. And if you don't want to talk about it, I'm not gonna push you. I'm not gonna push you about it. That's not the type of person I am. I'm not gonna force you to talk to me. And it was very obvious that Brooke didn't want to talk to anyone about it. Like she said, she felt cold. She felt emotionally distant. She felt scared. She didn't want to talk to anyone about it. She didn't say anything until Peyton walked in on her in her bathroom when she saw what she had on her mirror. So that's to get it straight. So for the girl to say that Peyton was not a good friend of Brooke because she was too focused on her happiness with Lucas to not be there for her friend in need, get the fuck out of here. The fuck you talking about? Was she a bad friend when she was getting her clothes off the side of the sidewalk? Was she a bad friend when she folded her clothes and put them back in her house? Was she a bad friend when she kept asking? And after that, when Brooke told her what happened, she stayed with her and was asking her, is she feeling emotionally distant because of Angie, telling her that she's a great person and all the other stuff. Like, was she a bad friend then? And was she a bad friend with Brooke told her that she just didn't want to ruin her happiness? She was so happy that she didn't want to ruin it by saying anything. Was Peyton a bad friend when she said, you have me no matter what? Nothing you can do could ever make me ruin my happiness. You're my best friend. I want whatever you're going through, I'm going through. Was Peyton a bad friend then? Get the fuck out of here. The only people that Brooke genuinely told about her being attacked was Deb and Peyton. She did not tell Haley. She did not tell Nathan. She did not tell Lucas. So y'all can really shut the fuck up about Peyton being a bad friend because in that moment, because honestly, no the fuck she wasn't. She might have been a bad friend when she betrayed Brooke, but Brooke betrayed her too. They both betrayed the friendship. So I don't want to hear that. And if y'all want to sit here and talk about all the times Brooke wasn't a good friend, like not only did Brooke make a sex tape with her boyfriend, Brooke emotionally. Let me calm down. Talk too fast. In season 2, Brooke abandoned Peyton for Felix. There are so many moments in season 2 where Peyton needed her and she chose to get dick. I don't want to say dick. She chose to have sex with Felix over being there for her friend. Peyton said this. She said when she was having friends and benefits with Felix that Brooke never had any time for her. What kind of friend is that? I don't like bitches who abandon their bitches over a dude. Are you forgetting that you have a friend who needs you, who has a crisis in need? I didn't like that. I definitely don't think Brooke was a good friend to Peyton in season 2, which is why they brought Jake in, because Peyton was feeling very, very alone. Even though her and Brooke had their cute moments in season 2, I just feel like there were a lot of moments where Brooke emotionally abandoned her friend for Felix, in my opinion. She was there for her with the whole Jake situation, but I don't think she was there for her when she was going through her depression about her mom, missing her dad, Jake, and we're gonna add Lucas to that list because we all know that Lucas is a big reason why she was going through that emotional distress in season 2. I'm gonna fuck what y'all say. On to the next one, and after this we have our last one. Sorry this video was just so long, I just have a lot of things go off my chest. Keith wasn't as perfect as people make him out to be. Man, let's read it. Keith was one of my favorite characters, but I can see why Dan would despite his big brother. Keith went after his ex-girlfriend Karen when Dan tried to get custody of Lucas. How was that his problem? You walked out on her when you found out she was pregnant. You wanted nothing to do with her or Lucas. So how was it my fault that you were a bad father? How's that my problem? How was Keith a bad guy for being there for Karen? Him and Karen were friends in high school. Even though, yes, he secretly had a crush on her, but Dan asked her out first, he still was a good guy. He didn't be there for Karen to get points or to get a chance with her. No, that's not what it was about. He genuinely loved Karen and Lucas. He genuinely was there for them. For Dan to think that Keith stole something for him is delusional. He didn't steal anything. He was there for them because you abandoned them. He did what you should have done. The fuck? No. Keith was not a bad guy for being there for Lucas and and Karen. That sounds delusional. How? That didn't even make any sense. That makes no sense. I don't agree with that. On to the next one. She more wrote. She wrote more. Try to get with Karen. Custody of Lucas. What the fuck you mean? Get custody of Lucas. That was the best thing for him. Dan didn't want nothing to do with him. Dan kept all these pictures and all these little memories of Lucas, but yet he did nothing to try to be there for him at all. He made no effort to be a father for Lucas, telling him he wanted to get to know him. You had his whole life to get to know him. Period. You had your whole life to get to know Lucas. When he needed a dad, when he needed you, he had Keith. He don't need you no more. He don't need you. Not saying that you can't have a connection with your parent if they were not there for you. I feel like it's never too late for them to get to know you, but you had your whole life to get to know me. Don't try to make me feel bad for not wanting anything to do with you when you didn't want nothing to do with me. In my opinion, you didn't want nothing to do with me. So Keith was not a bad guy for being there for Karen and Lucas, being a surrogate father and being a surrogate husband to them when Dan failed them. Keith was wrong for sleeping with Deb. I will give her that. He was wrong. Even though Dan lost Deb a long time ago, he lost her a long time ago. Deb wanted nothing to do with him. Deb was emotionally detaching herself from Dan a long time ago. For Dan just kept saying the same old things. Oh, I promise I'll get better. I'll get better. I'll get better. I'll get better. Eventually, never ever getting better. Never ever changing his ways. Nothing. You think a person will keep sticking around when you keep giving them bullshit? No, they weren't right to keep them together. But I still feel like I understand what he was saying. They were both sad. They were both vulnerable, and it just happened. It wasn't something that was going on. It just happened. But they both know it was a mistake. For her to say that the whole rivalry and the whole beef between Keith and Dan is not all Dan's fault, some of it is Keith's fault too, no it's not. How was it Keith's fault that he became a surrogate father to Lucas and a surrogate husband to Karen because Dan chose to abandon them? How is that Keith's fault? How is he a bad guy for being there for them? Until this person explains that to me, I'm going to sleep better at night because nothing that she just said makes any lick of damn sense. No, Keith was a great guy. I feel like he was there for everyone. I feel like he always had a good head on his shoulders. He had great words of encouragement. I love Keith. There's not a lot of Keiths out here. Of course, we live in a world with a lot of Dans and not a lot of Keiths. And I wish we had more Keiths in this world. Keith is one of my favorite characters on the show. I feel like he always had great storylines, and I just love his character. People are way too harsh on teenage Peyton. I feel like people are harsh on Peyton in general. Not just teenage Peyton, not adult Peyton. I feel like people are harsh on Peyton in general. I feel like people like to give her character so much hate, but they like to give Brooke so much flack and a slap on the wrist. I'm not going to recap every single thing that she said Peyton did during this list. I feel like if you watch One Tree Hill, then you should know what Peyton did for us. I think it's understandable that she's drawn towards Lucas, who feels safe and warm and always trying to protect her. When she's been through so much trauma, cheating is never okay, but Brooke also made a sex tape with Nathan, and while Peyton on the break, I can't read what this says. But we all know Peyton been through a lot. She lost her mom at 9 years old, her dad moved far away, she was shot in her leg, completely traumatized. She made emotional connection towards Lucas, lost him to her best friend, had to emotionally drain herself by watching them be in love when she was in love with him. Another boyfriend came into her life. They grew an emotional connection. Then he left. She found out she was adopted by her mother. Found out she was adopted. Her parents were not her real parents. Her actual birth mother had cancer, and then she died once they make an emotional connection. She almost died from her pregnancy. Was stalked by a fake was stalked by her fake brother on the internet. He left her traumatized. Her real brother came into her life, and then he left again after they grew an emotional connection. So, like, I just feel like, I'm not saying that y'all can't like Peyton. I'm not using her trauma as an excuse for anything, so why she needs to get a slap on the wrist for the things that she do. Not saying that's any excuse for her to kiss Lucas while he's with Brooke, or that's not an excuse for why she was giving her energy to Lindsay. Not saying that they deserve that, even though she apologized to Lindsay after episode 12 when she flew all the way to motherfucking New York and told her that Lucas is in love with her and that she is sorry if she's sorry for making things confusing to them, but she should be back together with that. Lindsay should get back together with Lucas. That it's very obvious that Lucas is not in love with her anymore and she was wrong. And then Lindsay told her, if you watched it, that she needs to read the book and she needs to know that Lucas is very much still in love with her. So Brooke did I keep saying Brooke, Peyton did take accountability for what she did to Lindsay. I still feel like she was a little bit too mean and that she did take her energy out on the wrong person. But like I keep saying, I don't think Lindsay was this nice person that everybody thought that she was. Just like Brooke, she was intimidated and she was mad about the emotional connection that Lucas and Peyton had. She took that out on Brooke. She took that out on Lucas when she was the one who chose to try to befriend Peyton and who told him that they have nothing, that everybody here is friends, we're cool, we're G, and then you get mad at him because of your insecurity. No. And they try to say that you're making me insecure, you're making me paranoid. No, that's what you're making yourself be. I ain't do nothing. You're trying to befriend my ex-girlfriend. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? You're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel paranoid. You're going to feel you got to compete. You chose to be her friend. I didn't tell you to do that. The fuck? Anyway, also people tend to forget that her and Nathan were in a very toxic relationship and that he treated her horribly. Like, I feel like people are, and the whole drug thing. She was groomed by producers. She was groomed by a music producer. He told her that she had to do drugs and she wanted to run tricks. Like, she was doing drugs for a little bit. And then let's not forget that the whole lesbian storyline where everyone had made a rumor when Felix broke that dyke thing on her locker and made a rumors about her being a lesbian. So like, that's not just pretend that my girl Peyton wasn't going through no shit. Peyton was going through real shit. Like, pipe down, she's going through real shit, real traumas, and she never once felt like really safe for her life until she met Lucas. He made her feel safe. He actually went to bat for her. He actually made her feel safe, heard, and warm. So get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I'm not trying to hear none of that bullshit. I think Peyton is extremely overrated character. People who say that she was trying to make herself be a victim and that she was always crying and whining. Can you blame the girl? She's been through trauma her entire life. All she's ever known is how to take trauma, how to take it, how to live with it. No one has ever tried to help her, in my opinion. I feel like her dad didn't make things any better by emotionally abandoning her, by keeping her there at home all by herself, in my opinion. Her dad should have gotten her therapy after everything with her mother, in my opinion. I think Peyton really needed intense therapy, but I think she felt her most happiest around people who made her feel alive and who made her feel not so alone, which is why I love her dynamic with Lucas, because when she was with him, she was really happy. That was my reaction to the Once You Hear Unpopular Opinions. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of these unpopular opinions. I definitely agree with her. I don't think people are just harsh on high school Peyton. I think people are harsh on Peyton in general, in my opinion. Like, I don't think Peyton is this bad person that people try to make her out to be. I feel like she was there for everyone. I feel like she was a good person. She had a good heart. But I understood why she was so soft. She's been through shit. She's been through real trauma. So don't come for my girl Peyton. I was always more of a Peyton girl, honestly, more than Brooke and more than Haley. I was always rooting for Peyton, in my opinion. But I got a video about that too. About people talk about she got this victim complex. Don't worry, I got a video about that too. So this video was supposed to come early in the morning, but I had so much stuff to do that it's coming so late right now. But this whole month, I'm gonna try my best to upload as much rent as I can before I move out of here at the end of towards the beginning of November. I have until November to move into my new place. I already got a new place. I just have to have until November to move in. But I'm gonna try my best to upload what I can. I'm gonna try my best to upload as much of One Tree Hill stuff as I can, because One Tree Hill is a show that I really need to talk about more of. But I do have a 2010 rant, just one more rant that I need to talk about, and then I can move back to One Tree Hill. But I will be making One Tree Hill rant in between then. And I do have a One Tree Hill rant that I do need to upload. I'll probably be making that tomorrow, and as soon as I get up early in the morning after I brush my teeth and do my hygiene stuff and all that jazz, I probably will be uploading that video. But until then, I love you guys. Enjoy the video, and ciao!